The alarm bells rang through the Galactic Council chamber. Zix-9 floated in his crystal tank, his blue light pulsing faster than usual. He had been watching the deep space sensors for over 50 years, but he had never seen readings like this before. Council members, Zix-9 spoke through his translation device. His voice reached every corner of the massive hall. We have a problem, a big one. The other council members turned their attention to the crystal being. Velthara, the senior counselor, lifted her forearms in a gesture of concern. Her green skin changed to a darker shade, which meant she was worried. What kind of problem? Velthara asked. Her voice was calm, but everyone could hear the tension in it. Ships, Zix-9 replied. Many ships. They are moving toward Sol 3. The humans call it Earth. A wave of shocked sounds filled the chamber. Some members clicked their claws. Others made whistling noises. The ethereal collective representative, a being made of pure energy, flickered brightly. How many ships? Asked Commander Brock of the Talon Empire. His red eyes glowed as he leaned forward on his metal perch. 47 large vessels, military class. They carry invasion markers, Zix-9 answered. The fleet belongs to the Dominion Swarm. The chamber fell silent. Everyone knew about the Dominion Swarm. They were conquerors. They took planets and made the people there into slaves. They had destroyed hundreds of worlds over the past 1,000 years. The humans, whispered Nala 5 from the Peaceful Order. They do not even know we exist. They have no defenses against space attacks. Velthara stood up. Her tall body cast a shadow over the other council members. Show us the data, she commanded. The air above the chamber filled with light. A map appeared showing the solar system where Earth sat. Red dots moved slowly toward the third planet from the sun. The red dots were the Dominion ships. They will reach Earth in 6 days, Zix-9 explained. The humans have some basic space technology, but nothing that can stop this kind of attack, Jake. Murphy rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the screen again. He had been working for 16 hours straight on Liberty Station, but the readings still did not make sense. The orbital platform was the most advanced human facility in space. It watched for asteroids and tracked all the satellites around Earth. But these contacts were different. They were too big to be rocks and moved in formation like ships. The problem was that humans only had 3 ships in deep space, and Jake knew exactly where all of them were. Colonel Bennett, Jake called to his commanding officer. You need to see this. Colonel Lisa Bennett walked over to Jake's station. She was a tall woman with short brown hair and serious eyes. She had been in charge of space operations for 5 years and had never seen anything like this. What am I looking at, Lieutenant? She asked. 47 objects coming from beyond. Neptune, Jake replied. He pointed at the screen. They are in a perfect attack formation. They are decelerating like they plan to stop here. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. She had studied military tactics her whole career. The pattern on the screen looked exactly like an invasion fleet. Have you double-checked the equipment? She asked. 3 times, Jake answered. I also had Rodriguez confirm the readings from the ground station. Lisa picked up the red phone on Jake's desk. It was the direct line to Earth Defense Command. She had hoped she would never need to use it. This is Colonel Bennett on Liberty Station. I need to speak to Admiral Sullivan right now. 3,000 miles below, Dr. Amy Rodriguez sat in front of her computer screen at the Deep Space Communications Array in New Mexico. The large radio dishes outside her window were turned toward the stars, listening for any signals from space. For 20 years, Amy had searched for signs of alien life. She had analyzed thousands of signals, but they were all from human satellites or natural space phenomena. Today was different. The signal was clearly artificial. It had a pattern that repeated every 37 seconds. The mathematical structure was too complex to be random. Someone or something was sending organized information through space. Hey, Larry, Amy called to her assistant. Come look at this. Larry Wilson walked over from his desk. He was a young man who had just graduated from college. He knew less about space signals than Amy, but he was good with computers. "What do you think?" Amy asked, pointing at the signal pattern on her screen. Larry studied the data for several minutes. His face grew pale as he began to understand what he was seeing. "Dr. Rodriguez," Larry said slowly, "this is not random. This is language. Someone is talking." Amy nodded. She had reached the same conclusion. After decades of searching, humanity had finally found proof that intelligent life existed beyond Earth. But the timing worried her. The signal was very strong, which meant whoever was sending it was close to Earth. In the Galactic Council chamber, the debate had been going on for 2 hours. Some members wanted to help the humans, others wanted to stay away and let events happen. Naturally, the humans are a young species, argued the ethereal collective representative. They deserve a chance to survive and grow. We should warn them about the invasion. Commander Brock disagreed. If they cannot defend themselves, they are not worthy of joining the galactic community. This is a test. It is not a test, Nala 5 replied angrily. It is murder. The Dominion swarm will kill billions of innocent people. Velthara listened to all the arguments. As senior counselor, she would make the final decision. The council had rules about interfering with primitive species, but they also had rules about preventing genocide. "What do we know about human military capabilities?" she asked. Zix-9's light dimmed as he accessed his files. "They have nuclear weapons but have never used them in large numbers. They have some space vehicles but nothing designed for combat. Their largest space facility has maybe 50 people on it." "And the Dominion fleet?" Velthara continued. "Standard. Invasion force," Commander Brock answered. "Each ship carries about 2,000 warriors. They have energy weapons, shield technology, and faster-than-light communications. The humans will not last more than a few hours." The chamber fell quiet again. Everyone understood what this meant. In 6 days, the Dominion swarm would attack Earth. The humans had no chance of winning. Most likely they would not even understand what was happening until it was too late. "I propose we send a warning message," said the ethereal collective representative. "We can translate it into human languages. At least they will have time to prepare." "Prepare what?" Commander Brock laughed. "They have chemical rockets and metal bullets. The Dominion has plasma cannons and energy shields." Amy Rodriguez was still working on the alien signal when her phone rang. It was Colonel Bennett from Liberty Station. "Dr. Rodriguez, we have a situation. We are tracking unknown objects approaching Earth. Can you confirm any unusual signals from deep space?" Amy looked at her computer screen. The signal was getting stronger every hour. "Colonel, I have been tracking an artificial signal for the past 6 hours. It is definitely not human and it is getting closer." "How much closer?" Lisa asked. "Based on signal strength, I estimate the source will reach Earth orbit in less than a week," Amy replied. Lisa felt cold, despite the warm air on the space station. The objects Jake had detected and the signals Amy was receiving had to be connected. Something was coming to Earth and it was not friendly. "Dr. Rodriguez, I need you to keep monitoring that signal. Try to determine if it contains any useful information. We may be dealing with first contact." After Lisa hung up, Amy turned back to her computer. First contact. The phrase that every astronomer had dreamed about for decades. But Amy was not excited. She was scared. The signal pattern suggested advanced technology far beyond human capabilities. If these visitors were friendly, why had they not introduced themselves in a peaceful way? If they were hostile, humanity was in serious trouble. The Galactic Council chamber, Velthara finally made her decision. "We will not interfere directly," she announced, "but we will monitor the situation closely. If the humans show unexpected resistance or adaptation, we may reconsider our position." The council members accepted the decision, but many were unhappy. They knew they were about to watch the destruction of an entire civilization. None of them suspected that they were about to witness something completely different, something that would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Krevox stood on the bridge of his flagship and watched the small blue planet grow larger on the main screen. His 6 arms moved in patterns of satisfaction. This would be another easy conquest for the Dominion swarm. The planet looked peaceful from space. White clouds covered green and brown land masses. The beings who lived there had built some basic structures, but nothing that looked like serious military installations. "Fleet status report," Krevox ordered. His second-in-command, Captain Thax II, checked his instruments. "All 47 vessels are ready for planetary assault. Energy weapons are charged. Shield generators are operating at full power." Krevox nodded with approval. The Dominion swarm had conquered over 300 planets using the same basic strategy. First, they would destroy any space-based defenses. Then, they would attack major population centers from orbit. Finally, they would land troops to capture. Survivors for slavery. The process usually took less than 1 planetary rotation. These humans would be no different. Captain Ryan Phillips received the alert while he was eating breakfast in the officers' mess of the EDS Montana. The ship was Earth's newest and most advanced space vessel, though it had never been designed for combat. "All senior officers to the bridge immediately," came the announcement over the ship's communication system. Ryan finished his coffee and hurried to the bridge. When he arrived, he found his crew studying the long-range sensors with worried expressions. "What do we have?" Ryan asked his navigation officer. 47 objects have appeared at the edge of the solar system," Lieutenant Emma Clark reported. "They are definitely artificial, and they are heading straight for Earth." Ryan looked at the display screen. The objects were massive, each one many times larger than the Montana. They moved in a coordinated formation that could only mean one thing. "How long until they reach Earth?" Ryan asked. "At current speed, approximately 18 hours, Emma replied. Ryan felt his stomach tighten. 18 hours was not enough time to evacuate anyone or prepare any meaningful defense. Earth's entire space fleet consisted of only 12 ships, and most of them were not armed. "Send a message to Earth Defense Command," Ryan ordered. "Tell them we have confirmed alien contact and request immediate orders." On Earth, Admiral Kate Sullivan was in an emergency meeting with the President and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The Situation Room was filled with tension as military leaders tried to understand what humanity was facing. "What are our options?" the President asked. General Frank Murphy, the highest-ranking officer present, looked grim. "Mr. President, our space fleet was never designed for combat. We have some experimental weapons, but nothing that has been tested against unknown technology." "What about nuclear missiles?" asked the Secretary of Defense. "We can modify some of our ICBMs for space deployment," Admiral Sullivan replied. "But we have no idea if they will be effective against alien shields or armor." The President turned to Dr. Carlos Mendez, who had been called in from the Advanced Weapons Research Division. "Doctor, what can you tell us about possible alien capabilities?" Carlos had been studying theoretical alien technology for years, but he had never expected to need that knowledge in a real crisis. "Based on the fact that they traveled between stars, we can assume they have energy sources far beyond our current technology. They probably have weapons and defenses that we cannot match." The room fell silent. Everyone understood what this meant. Humanity was about to face an enemy that was technologically superior in every way. However, Carlos continued, superior technology does not always guarantee victory. History shows us that smaller, more flexible forces can sometimes defeat larger, more conventional ones. The President looked around the room. "What are you suggesting, Doctor?" "We fight smart, not hard. We use our advantages." "What advantages?" General Murphy asked. "We know our planet better than they do. We can be unpredictable, and we can adapt quickly to new situations." Admiral Sullivan stood up. "I will coordinate our space defenses. General Murphy, I need you to prepare ground-based anti-aircraft systems for orbital targets. Dr. Mendez, I want you to analyze anything we can learn about their technology. The meeting ended with everyone knowing they were probably planning for humanity's last battle. The first communication attempt came 12 hours before the alien fleet reached Earth. Captain Ryan Phillips was on duty when the Montana's communication system received a transmission unlike anything humans had ever heard. "This is unknown contact calling all vessels in this system," came a computerized translation. "We are the Dominion swarm. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed." Ryan looked at his communication officer, Lieutenant Peter Gray. "Can we respond?" "Yes, sir. The signal is on standard radio frequencies." Ryan took a deep breath. He was about to become the first human to speak directly to an alien intelligence. "Unknown contact, this is Captain Ryan Phillips of the Earth Defense Ship Montana. We represent the human species of planet Earth. We wish to establish peaceful communication." The response came back within minutes. "Peaceful communication is not possible. Surrender or be destroyed. You have 1 hour to comply." Ryan felt anger rise in his chest. Whoever these aliens were, they had traveled across space not to make friends, but to conquer. Humanity's first contact with alien life was going to be a war. "Lieutenant Gray, send a message to all Earth defense ships. Tell them to prepare for combat." In the Galactic Council chamber, Observer Morteth was sending real-time reports back to the council members. Most of them had expected the humans to surrender immediately when faced with the Dominion fleet. "The humans are not responding as predicted," Morteth reported. "They are preparing to fight." Velthara received the message with surprise. "Are they attempting to negotiate?" "No, Senior Counselor. They tried peaceful contact, but the Dominion refused. Now the humans are moving their ships into defensive positions." Commander Brock laughed when he heard the report. 12 primitive ships against 47 advanced warships. This will be over very quickly. But Zix-9 was studying the sensor data more carefully. "The human ship movements are not random," he observed. "They are using tactics I have not seen before." The battle began exactly 1 hour after the Dominion ultimatum expired. Admiral Krevox ordered his fleet to attack the human ships first, expecting to destroy Earth's space defenses in minutes. Captain Ryan Phillips watched the alien ships approach on his main screen. The Montana and 11 other Earth ships were spread out in a defensive formation that no military academy had ever taught. "All ships, execute Plan Delta," Ryan ordered. Plan Delta was something Admiral Sullivan had created in the past 12 hours. Instead of meeting the alien attack head-on, the Earth ships would scatter in different directions and attack from multiple angles. The Dominion ships fired their energy weapons at the positions where they expected the human ships to be. But the human ships had already moved. The bright energy blasts hit empty space. "Return fire," Ryan commanded. The Montana launched its experimental plasma missiles, weapons that had never been used in combat. The missiles were not as advanced as alien technology, but they were fast and difficult to track. 3 of the missiles hit a Dominion ship, causing visible damage to its hull. It was the first time in over 50 years that anyone had successfully attacked a Dominion vessel. "Impossible," Admiral Krevox said as he watched the tactical display. "How did primitive weapons penetrate our shields?" Captain Thax II checked his instruments. "The human missiles hit us from 3 different angles at exactly the same moment. The shield generators could not adjust fast enough." Krevox had never heard of such a tactic. In every previous conquest, enemy forces had attacked in predictable patterns. The humans were doing something completely different. Dr. Amy Rodriguez was still at her post in New Mexico when the shooting started. Her radio telescopes were picking up energy signatures from the battle happening in space around Earth. "Larry, are you seeing this data?" she called to her assistant. Larry Wilson was staring at his computer screen with amazement. "Dr. Rodriguez, the energy readings are off the charts. Whatever weapons they are using up there, they are more powerful than anything we have ever built." Amy was recording everything. Even if humanity lost this battle, someone might survive to learn from the data she was collecting. But as she watched the readings, something surprised her. The energy signatures showed that human weapons were hitting alien targets. The battle was not as one-sided as everyone had expected. The first phase of the battle lasted for 6 hours. When it ended, the Dominion fleet had lost 4 ships and several others were damaged. The human fleet had lost 2 ships, but the remaining 10 were still fighting. Admiral Krevox was confused and angry. This should have been a simple conquest, but the humans were fighting with tactics he had never seen before. They moved unpredictably, attacked from unexpected angles, and seemed to learn from each exchange of fire. "Send a message to Dominion." "Command," Krevox ordered. "Request additional support ships." These humans are more dangerous than intelligence reports indicated. On Earth, Admiral Sullivan was coordinating the defense from her command center. The reports from space were better than anyone had hoped, but she knew the real battle was just beginning. "The aliens will probably try to attack our cities next," she told her staff. "All ground-based defense systems are now active." Dr. Carlos Menda 3 months had passed since the aliens first arrived at Earth. What Admiral Krevox had expected to be a quick conquest had turned into the longest battle in Dominion Swarm history. Krevox stood in his damaged command center and studied the tactical reports. His fleet had started with 47 ships. Now he had 31 ships remaining, and most of those were damaged. The humans had somehow managed to destroy or disable 16 advanced warships using primitive technology. "Status report," Krevox demanded. Captain Thax II looked nervous as he delivered the news. "Admiral, we have lost another ship in the past day. The humans attacked our patrol vessel near their moon using tactics we have never encountered." "What kind of tactics?" Krevox asked. "They hide their ships behind space debris and attack from multiple directions at once. When we try to return fire, they disappear and attack from somewhere else." Krevox felt anger building in his chest. The Dominion swarm had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had never faced an enemy like the humans. These creatures seemed to learn from every battle and develop new strategies faster than the Dominion could adapt. Commander Alex Thompson piloted his modified fighter through the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. His ship looked nothing like the standard Earth defense fighter he had started with 3 months ago. The hull was covered with alien metal that his engineering team had salvaged from destroyed Dominion ships. The weapon systems had been replaced with captured alien energy cannons. Even the engine had been upgraded using alien technology. "Phoenix Squadron, this is Phoenix Leader," Alex spoke into his radio. "Target is approaching from Sector 7. Remember, hit fast and get out before they can lock onto us." "Copy that, Phoenix Leader," came the reply from Lieutenant Sandra Lopez. Her fighter was also heavily modified with alien technology. "We have visual contact with the enemy ship." Alex could see the Dominion patrol vessel on his scanner. It was alone, separated from the main fleet. This was exactly the kind of opportunity the human forces had learned to exploit. "Phoenix Squadron, attack pattern Delta 7. Go." 6 human fighters came out of the asteroid field from different directions. The alien ship tried to turn its weapons toward them, but the humans were moving too fast and from too many angles. Alex fired his captured alien weapons at the enemy ship's shield generators. Sandra and the other pilots targeted the engine systems and weapon batteries. Within 30 seconds, the alien ship was drifting helplessly in space. "Phoenix Leader to base," Alex reported. "Enemy patrol destroyed. We are returning with salvage materials." Back on Earth, former Army Ranger Nick Barnes crouched behind the wreckage of a burned-out car in downtown Denver. The Dominion had been trying to capture major cities for weeks, but human ground forces had made every block a battlefield. Nick carried a weapon that would have been impossible 3 months ago. It was built from captured alien energy cells and human electronics. His team had learned to combine alien power sources with human weapons to create guns that could penetrate Dominion armor. "Nick, this is Sarah," came the voice of Marine veteran Sarah Williams over his radio. "We have 6 alien soldiers moving down 5th Street toward your position." Nick checked his improvised energy rifle and signaled to his team. They had learned that alien soldiers were dangerous in open combat, but they could be defeated using guerrilla tactics and superior knowledge of human cities. Copy that, Sarah. We are ready. The Dominion soldiers walked down the street in perfect formation, just like they had been trained. They expected human resistance to follow predictable patterns. They were wrong. Nick and his team had spent weeks studying alien movement patterns. The Dominion soldiers always moved in the same formation and always checked the same hiding places. But humans had learned to hide in places the aliens never thought to look. The attack came from above, below, and both sides at the same time. Human fighters dropped from buildings, emerged from manholes, and fired from windows. The alien soldiers tried to respond, but they had been trained for conventional warfare, not urban guerrilla fighting. Within minutes, all 6 alien soldiers were down. Nick's team quickly gathered their weapons and equipment before disappearing, back into the maze of city streets. Dr. Jennifer Park had not slept in 36 hours. She sat in front of multiple computer screens in a bunker deep beneath the Pentagon, trying to solve the most important puzzle in human history. On her screens were detailed scans of captured alien computers and communication systems. For weeks, she had been trying to understand how Dominion technology worked. Today, she had finally made a breakthrough. "Mike, come look at this," Jennifer called to Navy Communications Specialist Petty Officer Mike Davis. Mike walked over to Jennifer's workstation. The screens were filled with complex data patterns and alien symbols. "I think I have figured out how their communication system works," Jennifer explained. "All Dominion ships use the same basic command frequencies. If we can access those frequencies, we might be able to disrupt their coordination." Mike studied the data. He had been working with radio communications for 10 years, but alien technology was completely different from anything he had seen before. "Can we build something to interfere with their signals?" Mike asked. "Better than that," Jennifer replied. "I think we can create a virus that will spread through their computer networks. Every time they try to communicate with each other, the virus will spread to more ships." Mike understood the implications immediately. If they could disrupt Dominion communications, the alien fleet would lose its biggest advantage: perfect coordination between ships. "How long will it take to build this virus?" Mike asked. "With the right equipment, maybe 48 hours, Jennifer answered. "But we will need to get close enough to one of their ships to upload it directly." In the Galactic Council chamber, the emergency session had been going on for 6 hours. Reports from the Sol system were unlike anything in galactic history. "The humans have now been fighting the Dominion swarm for 93 days, Observer Morteth reported. "Not only are they still resisting, but they appear to be winning." Counselor Velthera could hardly believe what she was hearing. "Winning? How is that possible?" "The human forces have destroyed 16 Dominion ships and have captured significant amounts of alien technology," Morteth continued. "More importantly, they are using that technology to build new weapons and defense systems." Zix-9's crystal form pulsed with blue light as he processed the information. "The humans are not just using captured alien technology, they are improving it." "Impossible," declared Commander Brock. "No species can master alien technology that quickly." "The evidence is clear," Morteth replied. "Human weapons now have greater range and accuracy than original Dominion designs. Human ships are faster and more maneuverable than they were at the start of the conflict." The council chamber filled with worried sounds. Every member understood what this meant. The humans were not just surviving their first contact with galactic civilization. They were evolving at an impossible rate. "How are they doing this?" asked Nala 5 from the Peaceful Order. Zix-9 had been studying the human tactics for weeks. "They appear to have a different approach to problem-solving than most galactic species. Instead of following established patterns, they create new solutions for each situation." "They adapt," Velthara said quietly. They learn from every encounter and change their methods accordingly. The implication was terrifying. If humans could advance from primitive space technology to advanced galactic weapons in just 3 months, what would they be capable of in a year? In 10 years? Back in the Sol system, Admiral Krevox received the message he had been dreading. Dominion Command was sending investigators to determine why the conquest was taking so long. Admiral, Captain Thax II reported, we have also received intelligence that the humans are planning a major offensive against our main fleet. What kind of offensive? Krevox asked. Unknown, sir, but our scouts report unusual activity around their largest space station. They appear to be preparing something. Krevox studied the tactical display. The humans had already proven they could defeat Dominion ships in small engagements. If they were planning a coordinated attack on the main fleet, the results could be disastrous. Send a message to all ship commanders, Krevox ordered. Maximum alert status. Prepare for coordinated human attack. What Krevox did not know was that Dr. Jennifer Park had finished her computer virus. In 12 hours, Commander Alex Thompson would fly a suicide mission to upload the virus directly into the Dominion command ship's computer system. The virus would spread through the alien fleet's communication network within minutes, disabling their ability to coordinate attacks and defenses. For the first time in the war, human forces would have a significant technological advantage. On Earth's largest space station, Admiral Kate Sullivan was coordinating the most ambitious military operation in human history. Every available ship and fighter would participate in the attack on the alien fleet. This is our chance to end the war, she told her senior officers. The aliens have superior individual ships, but we have learned to fight as a coordinated force. Tomorrow, we find out if human determination can overcome alien technology. The battle that would decide humanity's fate. 6 months after the initial invasion, Admiral Krevox stood in his command center staring at a message that made his blood run cold. Dominion High Command was sending the Second Fleet to Sol system. The message was clear. Krevox had failed, and reinforcements were coming to finish what he could not. The Second Fleet consisted of 12 battle cruisers and 40 support vessels, each one larger and more powerful than anything in Krevox's original invasion force. They were elite ships, crewed by the Dominion's most experienced warriors. When will the Second Fleet arrive? Krevox asked his tactical officer. 14 days, Admiral, came the reply. Krevox looked at his current fleet status. He had started with 47 ships. Now he commanded only 19 operational vessels. The humans had somehow destroyed or disabled 28 advanced warships using technology they had barely possessed 6 months ago. Prepare a detailed report on human capabilities, Krevox ordered. The Second Fleet needs to understand what they are facing. General Patricia Hayes stood in the command center of Earth's newest space station, studying the long-range sensor readings. The station itself was a miracle of human engineering and captured alien technology, built in just 4 months using methods that would have been impossible before the war. General, we have confirmation of new alien contacts approaching the outer system, reported her intelligence officer, Captain Brian Murphy. Based on energy signatures, these ships are much larger than the original invasion fleet. Patricia had been expecting this. Human forces had been too successful against the first alien fleet. It made sense that the aliens would send reinforcements. How many ships? She asked. 52 confirmed contacts, Brian replied. Analysis suggests they are military vessels designed for planetary bombardment. Patricia felt her stomach tighten. The first alien fleet had been dangerous enough. Now humanity would face an even larger force with more advanced weapons. Send a message. To all defense coordinators, Patricia ordered. Operation Homecoming is now active. Operation Homecoming was humanity's plan for defending against a second alien invasion. Unlike 6 months ago, Earth now had a real space fleet, advanced weapons, and most importantly, 6 months of experience fighting alien technology. The ESS Defiance was the flagship of humanity's space fleet and a perfect example of how much human technology had advanced. The ship's hull was built using alien metals that were stronger and lighter than any human materials. The weapons systems combined human engineering with alien energy technology to create guns more powerful than anything the original alien invaders had possessed. Captain Steve Morrison stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching his fleet prepare for the coming battle. Around him were 37 ships that had been built or rebuilt using captured alien technology. Each ship was unique, designed by human engineers who had learned to improve on alien designs. "Captain, all ships report ready for combat," his first officer reported. "Thank you, Commander," Steve replied. "Send a message to Admiral Hayes. Tell her the fleet is ready to engage the enemy." Steve looked out at the stars and thought about how much had changed. 6 months ago, he had been a test pilot flying experimental aircraft in Earth's atmosphere. Now he commanded a warship that could travel faster than light and fight battles in deep space. The change had not been easy. Thousands of people had died learning to fight the aliens. But humanity had learned, and now they were ready to prove that the first victory had not been luck. Dr. Rebecca Torres made her discovery while analyzing wreckage from a recently destroyed alien ship. She was working in a research facility that had been built inside a mountain in Colorado, one of dozens of secret locations where human scientists studied captured alien technology. "This is incredible," Rebecca said to her assistant, Dr. Martin Lee. "Look at these power consumption patterns." Martin examined the data on Rebecca's computer screen. The numbers showed how alien weapons and defense systems used energy during combat. "What am I looking at?" Martin asked. "Proof that the aliens have a serious weakness," Rebecca replied. "Their technology is incredibly advanced, but it's also incredibly rigid. Every alien ship uses exactly the same power distribution patterns. They never vary their energy usage based on combat situations." Martin began to understand. "So they cannot adapt their systems during battle." "Exactly. Human. Ships can redirect power from life support to weapons or from engines to shields, depending on what the situation requires. Alien ships cannot do this. Their systems are locked into fixed patterns." Rebecca's discovery explained why human forces had been successful against superior alien technology. Humans could adapt their tactics and their equipment during battle. The aliens could not. "There's more," Rebecca continued. "I think the aliens have been using the same basic technology for so long that they have forgotten how to innovate. They build amazing machines, but they cannot improve them or modify them for new situations." This was the most important intelligence discovery of the war. The aliens were not just technologically rigid, they were mentally rigid. They had become so dependent on their advanced systems that they had lost the ability to think creatively. The second alien fleet arrived exactly when the long-range sensors had predicted. Admiral Krivox watched the new ships take position near his battered fleet and felt both relief and shame. Relief that he would finally have enough firepower to defeat the humans. Shame that he had needed help to conquer a primitive planet. Admiral Zeth IV commanded the Second Fleet from his massive battlecruiser. He was a veteran of 50 successful planetary conquests and had never encountered serious resistance from any species. "Admiral Krivox, report on the tactical situation," Zeth IV commanded. Krivox transmitted his detailed files on human capabilities. The data showed 6 months of increasingly sophisticated human tactics and technology. "These readings must be incorrect," Zeth IV replied after reviewing the information. "No primitive species can advance this quickly." "The data is accurate," Krivox insisted. "The humans learn from every engagement. They modify their equipment and change their tactics faster than we can adapt our responses." Zeth IV dismissed Krivox's concerns. "I will demonstrate proper conquest techniques. All ships, prepare for planetary bombardment. We will destroy their major population centers within 1 day." But Admiral Zeth 4 had made a crucial mistake. He was planning to use standard Dominion tactics against an enemy that had learned to defeat standard Dominion tactics. The Battle of Luna began when human long-range sensors detected the alien fleet moving toward Earth's moon. General Hayes had positioned most of humanity's space fleet near Luna, hoping to intercept the aliens before they could attack Earth directly. Captain Morrison's task force engaged the alien fleet at maximum range, using tactics that had been impossible 6 months earlier. Human ships moved in coordinated groups, attacking alien vessels from multiple directions while avoiding return fire through rapid position changes. The aliens responded with their standard battle formations, expecting human ships to behave like every other enemy they had fought. Instead, human ships moved unpredictably, using captured alien technology in ways the original designers had never intended. Commander Lisa Park piloted her modified fighter through the battlefield at impossible speeds. Her ship had been built using human engineering principles combined with alien materials and power systems. The result was a fighter that could outmaneuver anything in the alien fleet. "Dragon Squadron, follow my lead," Lisa commanded as she dove toward an alien battle cruiser. "Target their shield generators with concentrated fire." 12 human fighters attacked the massive alien ship from different angles. The alien gunners tried to track the small, fast-moving targets, but human pilots had learned to fly in ways that confused alien targeting systems. Lisa's weapons were built from salvaged alien energy cells and human targeting computers. They were more accurate than original alien designs and could fire more rapidly. Her attack run disabled the battlecruiser's forward shields and left it vulnerable to follow-up attacks. The battle lasted for 18 hours. When it ended, the Second Fleet had lost 11 ships, and most of the survivors were damaged. The human fleet had lost 4 ships, but the remaining vessels were still operational and ready for continued fighting. Admiral Zeth 4 stared at his tactical display in complete shock. His elite fleet had been defeated by ships that should not have been able to match Dominion technology. The humans had not just fought well. They had fought better than any enemy the Dominion had ever encountered. "How is this possible?" Zeth 4 asked his tactical officer. "The human ships use our own technology, but they have modified it in ways we do not understand," came the reply. "Their weapons are more powerful than ours. Their ships are faster than ours. Their tactics are more flexible than ours." For the first time in his career, Admiral Zeth 4 began to consider the possibility of retreat. In the Galactic Council chamber, Emergency Session 9947 was reaching its conclusion. The reports from Sol System had shocked every member of the Council. "The humans have now defeated 2 separate Dominion fleets," Observer Morteth reported. "Total alien losses are now 39 ships destroyed and 23 severely damaged." "And human losses?" asked Counselor Velthera. 6 ships destroyed, but their fleet is actually larger now than when the war began. They are built 1 year after first contact. Admiral Krevox stood in the escape pod bay of his flagship, preparing to retreat from Sol System. Around him, the few surviving members of his crew gathered what remained of their personal belongings. The war was over. The Dominion swarm had lost. In 12 months of fighting, the humans had destroyed or captured over 60 Dominion ships. They had turned captured alien technology into weapons and defenses that surpassed the originals. Most importantly, they had proven that superior technology meant nothing without the ability to adapt and innovate. "Admiral, the human fleet is approaching," reported Captain Thax 2. "They are requesting our surrender." Krevox looked at his tactical display one final time. The human fleet now consisted of over 40 ships, most of them built using improved alien technology. Each ship was unique, modified by human engineers who refused to accept that alien designs could not be improved. "Signal our surrender," Krevox ordered. "Tell the humans they have won." Fleet Admiral Dan Cooper received the surrender message aboard his flagship, the ESS Enterprise. The ship was humanity's greatest technological achievement, combining the Best of alien technology with human innovation and creativity. Dan had been a simple ship captain when the war began. Now he commanded the most advanced space fleet in the galaxy. The transformation had not been easy, but humans had proven they could adapt to any challenge. "Signal received and acknowledged," reported his communications officer. "What are your orders, Admiral?" Dan looked out at the stars and thought about everything that had changed. 1 year ago, humanity had been alone in the universe, believing they were the only intelligent life. Now they were part of a galactic community, and they had earned their place through strength and determination. "Send a message to Earth Defense Command," Dan ordered. "Tell them the Sol system is secure. The war is over." Ambassador Helen Martinez stepped out of her shuttle and onto the docking bay of the Galactic Council station. She was humanity's first representative to the galactic community, and she carried with her the hopes and concerns of an entire planet. The Council station was enormous, larger than any human city. Representatives from dozens of different species worked and lived there, governing a galaxy that contained thousands of inhabited worlds. Helen was nervous but determined. Humanity had won their first galactic war, but now they faced an even greater challenge, proving they could be peaceful members of the galactic community. "Ambassador Martinez," said a tall, green-skinned alien who approached her in the docking bay. "I am Counselor Velthara. Welcome to the Galactic Council." Helen studied the alien carefully. This was the being who had decided not to warn humanity about the Dominion invasion. Helen was not sure if she should be grateful or angry. "Thank you, Counselor," Helen replied diplomatically. "I look forward to representing humanity's interests in the Council." Velthara's expression was difficult to read, but Helen sensed both respect and concern from the alien leader. "Your species has impressed the galactic community," Velthara said carefully. "Your technological advancement over the past year has been remarkable." Helen smiled. "Humans are good at solving problems, especially when our survival depends on it." Dr. Kevin Ross sat in his office at the newly established Galactic Relations Department, studying reports from human exploratory missions. In the 6 months since the war ended, human ships had visited over 20 star systems, making contact with alien civilizations and establishing trade relationships. The reports were encouraging but also concerning. Every alien species humanity had encountered was amazed by human technological capabilities. Some were friendly and eager to trade. Others were clearly worried about humanity's rapid advancement. "Dr. Ross, you have a priority message from the Council station," his assistant announced. Kevin opened the encrypted communication from Ambassador Martinez. The message was brief but important. The Galactic Council was preparing to vote on humanity's application for full membership. The vote would not be automatic. Some council members were concerned about admitting a species that had advanced so quickly and demonstrated such effective military capabilities. Others argued that humanity had proven their worthiness by defeating a major galactic threat. Kevin knew the decision would shape humanity's future for generations. Full council membership would give humans access to advanced galactic technology and trade networks. It would also make humanity responsible for helping to govern and protect thousands of worlds. In the council chamber, the debate had been going on for hours. Representatives from 43 different species argued about whether humanity should be granted full membership in the galactic community. "The humans have demonstrated remarkable capabilities," argued the ethereal collective representative. "They defeated the Dominion swarm, which had threatened galactic security for centuries. They deserve recognition for this achievement." Commander Brock disagreed. "They are too dangerous. In 1 year, they advanced from primitive chemical rockets to faster-than-light warships. What will they be capable of in 10 years? Nala 5 from the Peaceful Order had a different concern. "The humans learned about galactic civilization through warfare. They may believe that military strength is the only way to resolve conflicts." Zix 9 had been studying human behavior throughout the war. The humans demonstrate remarkable adaptability and problem-solving abilities. These traits could be valuable to the galactic community, or they could be threats, Commander Brock replied. No species has ever advanced so quickly. The humans are an unknown factor. Counselor Vel Thera listened to all the arguments before, making her decision. As senior counselor, her vote would influence many others. The humans did not choose to enter galactic civilization through warfare, she said finally. War was forced upon them by the Dominion swarm. They responded to that threat with courage, creativity, and determination. She paused and looked around. The chamber. These are qualities we should admire, not fear. I vote to grant humanity full membership in the Galactic Council. The final vote was close. 22 species in favor, 19 opposed, and 2 abstentions. Humanity had been accepted as the newest member of the galactic community. Ambassador Helen Martinez stood at the podium in the Great Council chamber, preparing to deliver humanity's first official statement to the galaxy. Around her sat representatives from species that had been exploring the stars for thousands of years. Now humanity would join them as equals. Honorable counselors, Helen began. 1 year ago, humanity was alone in the universe. We believed we were the only intelligent life in existence. Then the Dominion swarm arrived at our world, and everything changed. She paused and looked around the chamber. Some faces showed interest, others showed concern, and a few showed fear. We did not choose our first contact with galactic civilization to be through warfare. But when faced with conquest and slavery, we chose to fight. We chose to survive, and we chose to learn. Helen's voice grew stronger as she continued. In the past year, humanity has learned much about technology, about space travel, and about the galaxy we now inhabit. But the most important thing we have learned is that we are not alone, and we do not wish to be alone. She took a deep breath before delivering humanity's most important message. We hope our future interactions with all galactic species can be peaceful and beneficial. We want to trade, to learn, and to contribute to the security and prosperity of the galaxy. Then her voice became firm and serious. But if any species chooses to threaten humanity or our friends, you have seen what we are capable of when our survival is at stake. We did not seek conflict with the Dominion swarm, but we ended it on our terms. The chamber was completely silent as Helen concluded her speech. We offer friendship to all species that approach us in peace, but we will defend ourselves and our allies against any aggression. This is humanity's promise to the galaxy. As Helen returned to her seat, she could hear whispered conversations throughout the chamber. The galactic community was beginning to understand what humanity's membership would mean. 6 months later, human ships were exploring star systems throughout the galaxy. Human engineers were working with alien scientists to develop new technologies. Human diplomats were negotiating trade agreements and defense treaties. But in the military command centers of several major galactic powers, strategic planners were studying reports of human capabilities and wondering if they had made a mistake by accepting humanity into the galactic community. The humans had entered galactic civilization through a trial of fire, and they had not just survived. They had thrived. They had proven that technological superiority was not enough to guarantee victory against an enemy that could adapt, innovate, and refuse to surrender. As humanity began to expand into the galaxy, other species watched nervously. They had gained a new ally in the fight against forces like the Dominion swarm. They had also gained a potential rival unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Galactic Council's decision to admit humanity would shape the future of galactic civilization for centuries to come. Whether that future would be peaceful or violent would depend on the choices made by humans and aliens alike. But one thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same.